The funny thing I thought about, because his name, Søren Rastogi, because the Søren is a super Danish name, and Rastogi, I believe, is Indian name. It's really beautiful because it starts so calmly in the horns, and then you can actually feel the sun going up. It describes the sun going up, the whole day of the sun, and he looks at it at the Aegean Sea. So you can see the sun goes up, and then in the middle of the day comes the tune, and it gets wilder, and then it goes down again in the end. It's super beautiful piece. Actually, one of the most performed pieces by Carl Nielsen. I'm very happy that we could bring it to India.
So talk to us about the NCPA and coming back for the 6th time.
I'm just so grateful and thankful that I get the chance to go to India with music. That's also why I founded this INDK Symphonic Collaboration.
All right, if Western classical music is your go-to, then no better place than the National Center of the Performing Arts. On This Week at the NCPA, we're about to cover a performance on the 27th of June at the Tata Theatre, 7 p.m. onwards. It is the SOI Chamber Orchestra and Friends from Scandinavia. And when I say Scandinavia, it means the Royal Academy of Music, Aarhus, Aalborg, also known as RAMA, and the RDAM, the Royal Danish Academy of Music. And they will be conducted by Maria Badstue, who joined us last year, if you remember. And here she is back on the show. Hi, nice to meet you again. How are you?
Hi, nice to meet you again. I'm good.
Maria, we're very excited because this is an evening of sublime music conducted by you, but also I imagine because you're Danish and the orchestras are Danish, it concerns the work of Danish composer Carl Nielsen. So let's talk about Carl first and his work, especially the inspiration that he drew from the ancient myth of Helios.
Yes, he went to Greece because his wife was a very famous sculptor. She's actually got a lot of attention recent years in Denmark, actually. And so he went with her to study the architecture and the old Greek sculptures or so. And there he wrote the piece Helios Overture. Helios means sun in Greek. And it's really beautiful because it starts so calmly in the horns, and then you can actually feel the sun going up. It describes the sun going up, the whole day of the sun, and he looks at it at the Aegean Sea. So you can see the sun goes up, and then in the middle of the day comes the tune, and it gets wilder, and then it goes down again in the end. It's super beautiful piece. Actually, one of the most performed pieces by Carl Nielsen. I'm very happy that we could bring it to India, because there's something beauty in this. The sun rises all over the world, also in India, especially. It's always there in India. So it's such a beautiful piece, one of my favorites by Carl Nielsen. And of course, obviously, Carl Nielsen is, being Danish, I studied in the Carl Nielsen Academy of Music in Odense, it's called. And so we have a lot of Carl Nielsen here, all the songs, it's beautiful rhythm.
And that's wonderful. And he himself, Nielsen, I think his go-to instrument was the violin, isn't it? I mean, he played it for years and years, very passionate about it. Something that you could tell us about his life, apart from the music that you just spoke about.
He actually also played the trumpet as I do. He grew up in a small house. I've been there. I've made a lecture at his childhood home in Finland, where you can see this very old small building. It's amazing how he has become such a world famous composer from the conditions he came from, because he was from a poor family. They didn't have much, and there were many children, and he started playing in the military band on the trumpet. The bugle, sort of, and then he's written this book called Music is Life, and where he describes so beautifully. There's so many beautiful words about music. I think and he was very famous in Denmark. They've just there's the Carl Nielsen Museum. I was there last year, and I'm going to be talking there next year also about where they got a prize about. I can recommend everyone to visit the Carl Nielsen Museum in Denmark. It's a fantastic museum, and describing how he has, when he died, there was a big public funeral. It's filmed he died like a star, but he was not born like a star, not at all. And his music also, there's always these, you can hear these, not ducks, what's it called, henschen, the birds, and you can hear, because from the Funen Island, he has been in the nature. He came from the countryside. So you can hear the nature in his music. And what's different from his music compared to, for example, Sibelius music, which we will also hear, is that all his symphonies, Carl Nielsen's, are very different and there are characteristica, but it's very different. Whereas Sibelius, he has another tone language that maybe is easier to identify. That is Sibelius, but Nielsen is very different, the symphonies, and his last symphonies are really crazy. He's really he became a modernist. And then you won't know in India, but he has written hundreds not hundred, but maybe around 100 songs that we sing in the schools, and the kids can sing them, children's songs, and just hymns and songs, which are and describing actually the everyday life of Danish people in the songs, with famous Danish poets writing the texts. And he's, I would have loved to meet him.
Yeah, that is interesting. We had no idea about the hymns and the songs that he's written.
Many of them are in the orchestral works. They are incorporated to some extent. Not many, but some of them.
Now, the evening also features Denmark's most versatile and renowned concert pianist, and that's Soren Rastogi. Now, Rastogi is going to perform from that really one of the last great representatives of Romanticism in Russian classical music, which is Rachmaninov. This is Piano Concerto No. 2. Would you tell us a little bit about Soren Rastogi? I believe he's quite a sensation as far as pianists from Denmark are concerned.
He's very well known here. He's yes, everybody knows Søren. And the funny thing I thought about, because his name Søren Rastogi, because the Søren is a super Danish name, and Rastogi, I believe, is Indian name. You know, he has Indian roots as well. So it's I've never worked with him. He has a wonderful wife who plays the cello, and I've worked with her, but actually never with Søren. I look very much forward to present him. And the Rachmaninov concerto is, it's a marvelous piece, and it's actually, it's of course one of the most famous pieces by Rachmaninov, the concerto, and I'm really looking forward.
I believe it's known for its lush orchestration, lots of orchestration in there, and a string of memorable themes that kind of runs through it.
The themes are actually, when I'm studying it, it's because there's a lot of unisono strings, melodies, and it's easy to understand. It's 8 bars, and it's so effective composition, I think. Actually, the funny thing is that the piece by Carl Nielsen and Rachmaninov is written with 2 years in between, 1901 and 1903, whereas the Sibelius Fifth is written 1925, and the new piece we have on the program from Maren Elise Ingeberg is written last month, 2025. So there's 100 years between those two pieces, and about the same time the other two pieces. So it's really pieces from the beginning of the 19th century, and then 100 years between the other two.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's so emotional. The Finnish government has specially commissioned this in honor of Jean Sibelius's birthday, and the birthday has been declared a national holiday. So this is Symphony No. 5. You want to just comment on the Royal Academy of Music and the Royal Danish Academy of Music? The fact that you both are coming together to collaborate with the Symphony Orchestra of India. We like that, please.
It's actually it was a super coincidence, but actually it's because the Danish state has decided they would like to strengthen the relation between Denmark and India with culture and music. So they reached out to the academies. Could we do something? And they contacted me. Could we do something? And then actually it was supposed only to be musicians from the Royal Academy in Aarhus, which is the second biggest city in Denmark. But then eventually the Academy in Copenhagen, which is our our biggest academy also wanted to join. So also musicians will come from there. So it's not only a collaboration between Denmark and India, but also a collaboration within the academies in Denmark. And I'm really excited that could be possible, because this is super. It's so wonderful to bring young musicians from Denmark to perform. I've studied in this academy as well, these academies, and so coming from that sort of tradition of music making to bring to India. And I'm also very happy that we could make this Scandinavian program, because I believe it's rarely heard. I don't think they played Helios before, and also not Sibelius really. Nielsen and Sibelius and we perform it all the time here. And it is really a great music. So it's really it's sort of my Carl Nielsen is especially I really, but also Sibelius, because I studied in Finland. I studied with Jorma Panula.
Wow.
Who is this famous Finnish, we learned sort of to conduct on Sibelius repertoire. That was the music we studied and worked on. So I've learned to conduct on Sibelius and Nielsen, actually.
That's excellent. So the brass ensemble with musicians from the Royal Academy of Music, Aarhus, Aalborg, and the Royal Danish Academy of Music will be presented on the 24th of June at the Experimental Theatre. And like I told you, the SOI Chamber Orchestra will perform with musicians from RAMA and RDAM, with Soren Rastogi on piano and Maria Badstue on the podium on the 27th of June at the Tata Theatre. So get on to Book My Show, get to the venue, get your tickets all sorted and organized. They're going out very, very fast. Maria, your 6th time at the NCPA. Wow. And you have to tell us about these, the past memorable occasions. And of course, if I remember correctly, you did rehearse the Symphony Orchestra of India for Zubin Mehta's concerts in the autumn of 2024. That was another special one as far as you are concerned. So talk to us about the NCPA and coming back for the 6th time.
I'm just so grateful and thankful that I get the chance to go to India with music. That's also why I founded this INDK Symphonic Collaboration, because if I was adopted from India, and I'm so it's so nice for me to come there. It's like I must say, to some extent, I feel like coming home, even it's not my home, but I'm so happy also if I can give something and do something and work with that I get to. There's so many. I've met so many nice people in India, and I couldn't. I find it very, very meaningful, and it's one of the most important things in my life that I get to. That I visit India on a regular basis. My first time there was, of course, incredible, and yes, with Zubin. That was this August 24, and he that was amazing, because Zubin is a really, really nice guy and normal and easy to be with, and he was very friendly towards me, and I think he was a little. We had a really nice time together. He was. I believe I don't, because I never saw a conductor from India of Indian origin, actually, and I don't think Zubin did either. Not so many, at least. So I was actually touched about seeing him, and I felt he was also happy to see me. And he was, I think he was thankful for helping, because sometimes conducting is also it's exhausting. Sometimes you need to concentrate a lot, and even Zubin, who has done it all his life to such a high level, it's also for him exhausting to stand there for 6 hours, and he's also old. So it's actually nice to have someone to help sometimes. So that was of course a big. I will never forget that week, and also all the other weeks in India, because all of my. It has been special to be there every time, and it's so great that we can collaborate. I think across the globe. Even I'm really feeling this, that I'm sort of in the middle of the whole thing. So this multicultural.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Let me fill you guys in. This season, the INDK Symphonic Collaboration that Maria just briefly mentioned a few minutes ago, they've added a new chapter in the form of a newly founded advisory board with experts from both Denmark and India. So this is wonderful. There's so much of interest and attention towards India from Denmark, and we're grateful for that. And it's all for the music. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it, and have a great one. Bye-bye, Maria.
Bye-bye.
94.3 Radio 1.